Welcome to day 4 of our Comprehension crash course. Today we're putting all the foundational knowledge we've built so far into action. Now that we understand what reading comprehension is, why kids struggle, and how to find the right level text, it's time to explore 6 actionable strategies you can use at home to improve your child's reading comprehension. After working with students as a reading interventionist and helping them prepare for progress monitoring and standardized tests, I've developed 6 key strategies to help them tackle these assessments successfully. I'll guide you through these strategies in the same order I use when working one-on-one with students, demonstrating how they align with the reading workbook I've developed to strategically target comprehension using these 6 methods. Let's begin with strategy 1. Practice higher level reading skills. Students should practice skills like inferencing, author's purpose, and theme. Repeat exposure to identifying these elements in texts lead to deeper comprehension. Teachers usually introduce these reading skills to kids before they start reading a text. These skills help kids find hidden meanings, spot patterns, and identify key themes that aren't always clearly stated. I always start by reviewing the reading skill before reading to help kids make connections and tackle the challenging questions they'll see on their school assessments. Your action item for this strategy is to focus on these commonly tested reading skills: inference, author's purpose, and theme. For inference, explain that it's like being a detective and finding clues within the text. Ask questions like, what can you infer about the character's motivations? Author's purpose might involve identifying if the author is trying to inform, entertain, or persuade. Ask questions like, what is the author's main purpose in writing the text? And theme requires recognizing the message or lesson an author wants the reader to take away. Ask questions like, what is the main theme found in the text? Strategy 2 is reading out loud and silently. Consistent reading builds fluency and comprehension. Reading out loud helps kids practice pronunciation, pacing, and tone, improving their fluency skills and confidence. Silent reading lets them focus on understanding the text, helping them dive deeper into the material without distractions. In the STAR reading strategy in the workbook, this step is called Target the Text. Here, students read carefully for the first time to get an initial feel for what the text is all about. Action item here is to make sure your child reads every day, mixing in both aloud and silent reading. When reading out loud, pick a mix of books from easy to more challenging, encouraging them to read at a steady pace and change their tone and expression to make the story and characters come alive. For silent reading, create a cozy spot where your child can relax and enjoy their book. Give them some quiet time to read, focusing on making it calm and an enjoyable experience. Strategy 3 is reread to build comprehension. Rereading text helps students move past the initial word and language recognition stage and access a deeper understanding during the second read. This repeat exposure enables them to recognize words more quickly and build confidence in their ability to comprehend texts independently. I refer to this as actively reading as a part of the STAR strategy. When kids revisit the same passage, they focus less on sounding out words and more on understanding the content and identifying key details. Your action item here is to practice this at home. Have your child reread the same passage or chapter twice. During the first read, let them work through the text at their natural pace. For the second reading, encourage them to read with more confidence and expression or silently in their head. They should try to understand the story better, catch details they missed the first time, and focus in on what's happening. By making rereading a habit, students boost their fluency and comprehension while getting better at handling increasingly challenging texts. This strategy strengthens basic reading skills and gets them ready for more advanced comprehension. Strategy 4, discuss and recall the text. After the first and second reads, engaging in a thoughtful discussion helps students reinforce their understanding and recall key details. For fiction text, encourage your child to consider elements like the setting, the characters, and the plot events. While they're reading a nonfiction text, focus on the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. These conversations will deepen their comprehension by allowing them to explain their interpretation and identify important concepts. This is the second part of actively rereading stage in the workbook. I script these questions to help students recall the information on their second read before moving on to the complex thinking questions. Your action item here is to try these following steps. Encourage your child to think critically by posing questions like, why do you think the main character made this decision? Have your child summarize the text in their own words. Ask your child to relate the text to their personal experiences, other books they've read, or current events. For fiction, guide your child in tracking how characters change and how the plot unfolds, discussing themes or lessons they've learned. Strategy 5, use higher level comprehension questions. Move from basic recall to advanced critical thinking with higher level questions that encourage deeper analysis. This is what I refer to as the respond to questions phase. This is what you do after reading. I'll go over the most common types of questions your child will see on school assessments. Multiple choice. These questions test a range of comprehension skills, including inferencing, organization, and author's claim. Students must choose the best answer from several options, requiring them to apply knowledge and understanding gained from the text. Multi-part questions. These often involve 2 or more components. The question will first ask for a direct response based on the text, followed by a request for textual evidence. This format helps students practice not only identifying correct answers, but also justifying them with specific text evidence. Multi-select. These questions require students to select multiple correct answers from a list of possibilities. These types of questions challenge students to think critically about the text and evaluate multiple aspects and details simultaneously. Constructed response. In this format, students are asked to formulate a written response based on a prompt, integrating direct quotes and closely paraphrased material from the text. This encourages detailed understanding and the ability to argue or explain a point clearly using the text as support. Table grid. This is a question that appears in the upper grades where students will have to evaluate details or claims made within a story or text and select the most appropriate ones from a table. By practicing these types of questions, students will become familiar with higher level comprehension questions that they will be asked to answer in school assessments. The action item here is to practice. Practice using different question types with your child to ensure they are familiar with the language, vocabulary, and rigor of assessment-like questions. For guided practice, check out my workbook, which pairs questions with their just right text level. Strategy 6, emphasize text evidence. Backing up answers with textual evidence and prior knowledge is crucial for improving comprehension and critical thinking. The final part in responding to the question is to go back and find text evidence. Your child should be able to locate specific phrases or sentences that directly support their answer. Highlighting or underlining key evidence helps reinforce this practice. It's essential that kids not only find relevant evidence, but also clearly explain why and how it supports their answer. This analysis reinforces their understanding and critical thinking. By prioritizing text evidence, your child will develop the habit of supporting their responses thoughtfully. This is a crucial skill for success in both academic assessments and real-world problem solving. Your action item here is whenever your child provides an answer, always ask why or how do you know? Prompt them to cite evidence directly from the text. And there you have it, 6 actionable strategies to improve reading comprehension at home. Tune in tomorrow for the final video where I'll walk through these strategies step by step with my own daughter. See you then.